Welcome to It Is What It Is, a true crime podcast. I'm your host, Shaw Marie, and hopefully everybody is having a lovely hump day. I know it's been a minute, and I know I didn't do a Christmas episode like I said, but y'all, literally, I don't know what I signed up for when I bought a home. Really didn't. I assumed painting was like you go in, you 1-2 with the paint thing, and you're done. It's not. It's turned into the mission from hell. And so things have just been chaotic. Kind of. I move in 4 days, still have so much to do. Like, it's just crazy. So I'm sorry. There was no Christmas episode, but guess what? Christmas will come again next year. I'll get you then. So, today's episode is not the original episode I was going to do for today. I actually just changed it last second. And I'll tell you why more at the end. But when I got to work, I started watching The Case That Died With Her on the Oxygen channel. And it just saddened me. Like, I know all murders are sad before anybody tries to jump my throat. But it touched me deep. And she never got her justice, and it wasn't until after she died and her story came out that people were like, oh wow, I'm sorry I judged her, and I'm sorry I was a douchebag to her, because that's what she went through. And it was just an eye-opening thing that, like, especially in school, man, the kids that you think are like the whores, the slutty girls, the ones who aren't, the smelly kids. I mean, obviously we're children, so we don't question it about ourselves. But there's more, there's always more back behind it. He's not smelly for any good old reason. I mean, and yes, I went to school with girls that I'm pretty sure they just love to suck the dick. They did. Like, it was like an after school hobby. So, I mean, there are some of those that are just like, I did it to be cool. And now they're like super, super fat with like 100 kids. So it's like, ha ha. And they learned. But there's other kids who are tremendous athletes, and the only thing that changes about them is a slight thing, whether it's like a new attitude, hairstyle, or whatever, but their drive to succeed and their drive to be good at what they're good at covers up their pain for a good portion. And so it just got me. And if you haven't watched that yet, it's a really good one. It's about Emilie Morris and her family, her mom and her sister. She has a sister named Andrea, a little sister like I do. So, like, God, I don't even know. It was just so sad. And she dies tragically when she's 35 years old. She passes away on November 4th, 2014. I'm with her family. I believe there's something way shadier, but her death was ruled unknown and undetermined, or whatever that is. But she died from suffocating when her dad had found her. No one could get a hold of her for, I think it was like 2 days. And so her dad went over to her apartment and found her. Unfortunately, her head was in a garbage can, but the police never saw that because the parents took the garbage can off and the dad cleaned up the apartment. because he didn't want people to judge his daughter, because she was already going through the public eye, because coming up very soon, close to her death, she was finally gonna get the justice against her track coach from when she was in high school. And his name is James Wilder. Okay, and this guy is a really good track coach from what everybody says about him. They rant and rave that he was this really good coach or whatever. And she had an inappropriate relationship with him. It was one of the first relationships, her first sexual experience and all that kind of stuff. And so it was a big thing for her. At the time that it happened, she was only like 16 years old. So she was very, very young. And he took advantage of it. Obviously, like older dudes do. And so she kept it in for all this time and everything else. And then as she got older, right, one of her friends' daughters, something comes out about them and that something inappropriate happened with her. And she's like, I just can't keep my silence anymore. Like, I need to do the right thing. To be honest, my boss talked to me, so I'm unsure if it was the same coach. But so she actually still talked to the coach at the time. Like, she has it on recording. She went and had like a super, super long recording, like a conversation with him, because he didn't want to talk about it on the phone, where he got, like, they sat there and talked about everything. And he was like, well, yeah, in some parts it's not illegal, but like, here it is, and all this shit. So it was, I don't know. And she gives that to the police, right? But she, under oath, never said what had happened. And on the recording, she's not like, you remember that time when I was 16 and you did this or whatever, because they were going to do that part when it came to court. When she would go to testify, it would be like, okay, listen to the tape. Okay, Emily, how old were you when that happened? And then obviously she fills in the blank, but she passed away. So he gets off scot-free. But this is not the first time. Okay? Then another girl, and this happened to her back that she was 35 years old when this all happened, like when she was going to go to court and everything else. Like she waited a very long time before she came forward. She had alcohol problems, and they tried to say that was part of the reason that she died. And like, she didn't have as much alcohol in her system as her family originally thought she did. Like, the amount she had in her system, her family's like, yeah, that was nothing to her. So don't tell me that's what killed her, because we don't believe that. And I'm sorry, but your family knows. You know what I mean? Like, there's that feeling, if you have siblings or whatever, you know when something is just not okay and something is just wrong. You know. So anyway, but yeah, so then, and there's like, I don't even know, like a handful of girls that have the same exact stories about this douche. Same shit. I guess the wrestling room used to be like the place. And I even think in like my high school, I didn't go to high school very long, but my high school, the wrestling room was in the basement. But in my junior high, the wrestling room was the cafeteria / gym, whatever. And I've said it before on here that my father was the wrestling coach. So he was the coach, and the best coach. I swear he may have had his faults in life, but the man was a damn good coach. Damn good. It was what he was supposed to do. My brothers were excellent wrestlers. He he was a good coach. And so I know how important that role is. And like when he went away and went to jail, dude, there was wrestlers that would argue with us and they're like, he is not that way. And like, you know what I mean? Like they defended him through and through. They still do. There are some out there, every time they see me, they ask about my father. Every time. They still, in that regard, highly respect the man. So coaches and people who are put in power like that, they play such a major role. So for this to be her track coach just pissed me off. And like around the school at the time, everybody fucking knew. Freaking knew. And like it got like the principal called the parents in and everything. They asked her, and at the time, because like I said, this was like her first relationship or whatever, she was like, no, she did not want him to be ruined in a sense. Even at the age of 35, she was still like, this is just not going to go good for him. You know what I mean? Like, I need my justice, obviously, but he was married, he had children. She was a mother at that time. She knew. You know what I mean? It's not just going to affect him. So, and even as a kid, she thought that way. She was like, I'm not going to try to ruin this dude, his wife, his kids, blah, blah, blah. And so it just pissed me off. And she died and still hasn't gotten justice. And the most that the school has done was let him resign. And they only did that. He was on paid leave for like 6 freaking years. And the only reason they let him resign is because her tape got turned over to the school board where he was like, oh yeah, that one time in the wrestling room, I was hard as fuck. Because I guess someone had walked in and he had made her hide in the box with the singlets. Ew. It's like man thong. It's not a man thong because their cute little butt cheeks don't show. But like, I knew the size of every dude's dick in my class. Like they're just, it's gross. They're tight little like leotard things for dudes. It's just, you don't want to be swimming in a box of that. But like he made her wait in there. And like she brings up stuff like that. Like at one point in time, I guess, she was giving him oral head. I'm going to say it the way I say it. She was doing that in a bathroom at a park somewhere. And somebody had walked in. So like it was, there was just so many times. And like when it first came out, because he was such a good track coach and everything else, everybody was like, oh, she's just a drunk. And she had unfortunately affairs with other coaches as an adult and married men, and like it really destroyed her, what happened to her as a kid. So as an adult, she didn't have like the healthiest of relationships before she passed. She was married at one point in time, had some kids, got a divorce, like, and that was an older guy. So like the whole thing really just mentally was not good for her. And she never got her justice and remains that way. Like, I don't know. It just, my heart broke for the Morris family. It really did. It's so sad. And especially when you have everything. Like, Emilie went out of her way to go fucking meet up with this guy and be like, hey, you remember that one time? And he was like, yeah, I do. Let's take a walk down memory lane. And I guess the reason why, he did eventually get charged in 2013 with 6 counts of second-degree statutory sodomy. And in St. Louis, I guess if you're underage and you do anything like oral or anal, it's sodomy. And their relationship never went past oral on both parts, from what I understand. But, and like this creep did it to, like, other girls were like, he touched me too far when he was massaging my thigh. Or he slipped a finger by my lips down there and I felt uncomfortable. Like, you know what I mean? This wasn't the first or the last time. And he's still free as a bird. Absolutely horrible. And the reason why this got to me so much, besides like the coach and like the family, is it's just another, like, okay, recently I've had 2 mind-blowing experiences, okay? I've had a mother of a murder victim reach out to me, and I've talked to a mother of someone who has been is going to be convicted of a murder. I won't say names. The one lady I am going to have on my show. The other one I am not, but out of respect, because I highly respect her. She's an amazing gal. Anyway, you as a mother just, you're so connected to your children. And the fact that everybody told this family at the beginning of all of this, and when she first came out and spoke up and everything else, you're just doing it for attention. You just want attention. And the mom and the dad, they said no. We think back to her at 16 years old and Emilie changed. Something happened. And even her sister Andrea was like, shit, I didn't even want to go to high. She didn't say that. She did not cuss. She's like, I didn't even want to go to high school because my sister always cried. So I was like, damn, if my sister can't handle it, I'm going to hate it. So, you know, like they knew, they saw something was wrong with her. And it's like one mother that I'm talking to, even though her son has done something horrific, she's his mom. And it's hard to get past that relationship with your parents. And on the other hand, I have a very sad woman who at the time thought she was doing something beneficial for her son and his father. And now it's the biggest regret of her life. All because she thought this is going to help. You know what I mean? Like, being a mom, I don't know what's going on with me right now. Maybe it's because I'm like recently back in touch with my brother who's in jail. And I feel like a mom to him. I don't know. And I've always been like, and the one mom, the murder that her son was involved in was a complete accident. And it's like a play out of my biggest fear with my brother. My brother has a temper. He's not very, it's not easy for him to control his anger at times. And I've always had the massive fear that one day he's going to black out, go too far, push somebody into something. You know what I mean? Like, that he is going to murder somebody and no one will ever believe his side of the story, but that it's going to be the truth, that it was not meant to happen. You know what I mean? And so like talking to her was like looking in a mirror of like, oh my God. And I know it happens. I know that people, like, sometimes shit happens. We're people, you know what I mean? We're not indestructible. Sometimes you just need that bump in the head, and that's your number. Your number's called. You never know. And it's just so scary, like, as a mom, and then like your children are going to school, and that is where they're supposed to be safe. And that's where they get it taken advantage of. And you in your head, like there was a track meet, And Emilie didn't want to go. It was a big one. And that morning she was sick. And the whole time she's going, like her mom's taking her. She doesn't want to go. And she ends up losing the race on purpose because she didn't want to go out of town with the coach, because she knew if she did, it was going to be a weekend of fondling and grossness that she didn't want to take part in. Like, and as a mom, you're like, you got to go to the track meet. You know what I mean? Like, this is big for you. This is huge for you. You're going to regret not going. And we push our children to do these things because we think we are helping them. And in reality, they're keeping a secret, a very dark secret. And you're pushing them to be with somebody that's abusing them. And oh my God, dude, just being a parent, there's just so much responsibility that comes with being a parent. And no one ever gives you a handbook when you have these little people. No one ever does. I mean, at the hospital here in Idaho, I had to watch a video about like a seatbelt or something. To be honest, I didn't even watch it. Nobody even made me watch it. Like, they were like, hey, push play. And I was like, okay, it's a fucking baby. I got this. Thanks. So we waited a couple minutes. They came in. They're like, did you learn a lot? We're like, yeah, fine. So I didn't even watch the damn video. That is the only instruction I got when I had my children. From somebody who could have told me something. I don't know. It's just not fair. As your children grow, and as this woman I'm talking, she's been blamed, she's been persecuted, and everything else because her son did this horrible thing. Like, what did you do, his mom, to make him do this? And it's the same with mine. When my brother gets in trouble, it goes back on her. It's like, okay, why were you not with your children? And it's just... And another, like, same with the other mom I'm talking to. Well, why did you send him to his dad? Why didn't you take him back immediately? People are going to have these, and it's not that easy. It's not that cut and dry. As a mother, we think we are doing the best thing that we can. And sometimes, unfortunately, what we do is not beneficial to our children sometimes. But unfortunately, we never know those types of things until they happen, and we learn and we grow. And her son has had to confess, and so then it comes down to, oh my God, my son has done this. And now it explains so much. There's a million pieces, like everything, puzzle pieces are just connecting. It's a 1,000,000-piece puzzle. And you're like, okay, bam, there's that. Okay, bam, there's that. And like, it's all coming together. It's terrifying. Because you always think back, and every person I have talked to goes back to the last days or the last moments or whatever it is that happened before whatever happened. And they're like, you know what? If I just would have taken 3 less drags of my cigarette and gone in there, shit would have been different. Or if I could have gotten my kid back a week earlier before whatever happened, my son wouldn't have been murdered. You know what I mean? There's like so many things you do in your mind that's not fair. And so really, when you're doing this type of stuff, because how this conversation came up with me and this amazing lady is we're talking BSing at work, and I brought up my podcast. And I said something about it, and she goes, a what? And like, we did the whole explaining or whatever. And I was like, oh shit, girl, you don't know. I almost made the top 100 in New Zealand. You know what I mean? I was like flabbergasted. I was like, ooh, boost, boost. My head was like puff, puff. And she goes, oh, have you done this case? And I'm like, oh, I think. I'm not sure. Maybe I have. And she goes, oh, no, don't do it. Please don't ever do it. Don't ever do it. And I was like, oh, no, you know him? Like, obviously you know him. You're being affected by me telling you this. And we talk about it and we talk about it. And it turns out it's her son and everything else. And there's like all this shit to it. And as I'm talking to her, I'm like, you know what? I did do something on this, and I have said something about this before, and I may have said some things about your son that probably were not too kind. And I was going off of what the local news and everybody else had said, and I never once thought about reaching out to that side of that family. Everybody who does podcasts or whatever, it's always about the victim side, which it should be. Majority should be, because those are the people who lost their lives and everything else. But they're not the only one in the story. There's the person that did it. And yes, there are those people in the world. I'm not talking about those people who are the sadistic, the horrible, like the truly disgusting fucks of the world. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people who push someone falls, boom, they're dead. I'm talking about the person who, I don't even know, like, this is like a really fucked up example, but I know somebody who did this too. We put Visine in a drink, not realizing exactly what Visine could do. You know what I mean? Like, those people, yes, they're killers. Don't get me wrong, because that's the title of what you've done. That is your action title. If I lie to you, I am a liar. If I steal from you, I am a thief. You know what I mean? So if I kill you, I am a killer, obviously. So you're still a killer at the end of the day. That title is now your title, unfortunately. But there is more to those people. Sometimes it is as easy as something bad, truly bad happened. I didn't know how to handle that situation and I panicked. And everybody's going to sit there and you're going to go, you know what, Shawn Marie? No. Because if I ever did that, I would call the cops and I would do the right thing right away. And God bless you if you do. God bless you. What if you don't? What if you can't? Have you ever killed anybody? You have experience. You've been there. You've been in those shoes. You know how easy it is to willingly be like, I did this, believe my side of the story, and believe that I'm sorry, and that be enough, because it's not. You're going to go to jail. You're going to lose your family. All these things are going to happen. Everybody will know. Blah, blah, blah. All these things will happen. And you take that into consideration when you are there in that moment. Shit, I just did this. Now my boss, my wife, my mom, everybody's going to know. I got to hide it. I got to keep it. I got to keep this secret. You know what I mean? Like, is it really as cut and dry as, yep, you're a piece of shit, you did it, lock you up, throw away the key? I don't believe so. Some people, yes. But why are we blaming parents? I mean, and yes, in some cases, like we've talked about multiple times, your mama and your daddy done did it. But that's not the case all the time. This is such a hard thing to, every story is so different. And you try so hard to do justice on every story. And like the Morbid podcast, I love that podcast. But those sweet angel fucking beautiful women spend the majority of their podcast apologizing. Oh, sorry I said a state wrong. Sorry I said their name wrong. Are every one of you people that listen to these podcasts so damn perfect you've never mispronounced a town? You've never messed someone's name up? You've never done anything like that? But no, because we're recording it and we're putting it out there, we should know better. Get off your damn high horse, son. Unsaddle that bitch and rope her up, bro. Quit expect like horrible things happen to the greatest of people. And it's no fault of their own. You're literally dealt the cards you're dealt. Whether your son does something, that's not a reflection of you. Unless you've caused that. Unless you took part in that. Then yes, you as a parent failed. If you sending your child away to go see their father and then something malicious and horrible happens to your baby, that is not on you. That is not on that mom. If you force your kid to go to the fucking school track meet that they didn't want to go to, it is not on you for not knowing why they didn't want to go at that point in time. You're not a fucking mind reader. The guilt and the shame people carry around, man, it blows my mind. It's sad. Take some time to think. Yes, one side of it is truly horrible. Someone lost their life. But is the person that did it just a piece of shit every time? Every time? There's assholes like this coach that just get to walk away scot-free, ruining little girls' lives. But it's okay. He was a good coach. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. And we're worried about goddamn Kova. The world is such a disgusting place sometimes. So that's really what today was about, is just think. If it smells like shit, it's shit. But is what the media tells you exactly cut and dry? Because everything that this mother told me was never once mentioned in the media. Never once. And why? Who gives a fuck? He did it. That's not fair. That ain't fair. And no matter what you want to say, at the end of the day, put those shoes on your feet. And if I accidentally push my husband, or even on purpose, push him down some stairs and he dies, him dying was not my fucking intent. I did not intend for him to die. I intended to push you. Am I a bad person? No. Do I have some anger issues? Maybe. Is it as cut and dry as she hated him, she pushed him, he's dead? No. Is the media going to tell you anything else? No. As shitty as it may be, that is the way it is. And it is what it is. And I love the fact that now we're going into year 2. People are like, I finally get the name. I understand the name of your podcast. I finally get it. It is what it is, man. Once it happens, it happened. There's no rewind. There's no pause. There's no stop or eject. It's done. What do you do from there? So that's all I'm asking you folks to do. Yes, judge them for their wrongs, but also ask yourself why. I'm not saying everybody needs sympathy or that you should feel bad because someone was bullied as a child and so then they grow up and then they kill a whole bunch of people. No, I don't feel bad for you. I understand. Do I agree? No. In my point of view, in Sean Marie's point of view, you're a weak individual that let other people affect you your whole life, which is just sad and pathetic. That's my view. You know what I mean? And like recently, like I said, I've started talking to my little brother again, it's weird. We go through ups and downs. And to hear him say he was proud of me because of my podcast that someone listens to in Texas, by the way, hello, and like all this stuff, it made my fucking day. Literally, I was a happier person afterward. I've been requesting visits, everything else. And it's weird because people judge him. I judge him. I judge him all the time, but he's my brother, so I can do so. But I don't know. I guess there's some 18-year-old kid in there who is facing first-degree murder who wants to be on my podcast. So, shit, we might change this up and have ourselves a good old-fashioned jailhouse interview and just hear him out. Why not? What do we got to lose? Y'all are listening to me anyway to cover up time, so I mean, we might as well do it together. Dive in deep into the mind that we all are so curious about. I sit here and I'm like, oh, if I could ever just talk to him. Shit, I have the chance. Does that make me disrespectful and rude? No. It makes my mind just quiver with excitement to be able to pick at somebody and be like, but really, dude? I mean, after you did this, and this, that wasn't your tip, something was wrong. Like, I've always wanted to be like, okay, well, what did you do? Like, I get you killed them, but like, after it happened, first thought, bam, what was it? Was it, oh fuck, oh shit, oh no? Or was it like, oh, okay, that wasn't so bad, I could do it again. I've always, like, call me sick, call me twisted, whatever you want. Obviously, you are too because you're listening to me, but it's fine. You're going to judge me because it's easier to type away at a keyboard than it is to say it to someone's face, which is fine. I've come accustomed. It's fine. My people who love me and appreciate me are going to comment and be like, oh, girl, fuck, I feel you. I've always wanted to know. Dude, if they could be like, girl, you could call Ed Kemper right now and talk to him about anything you wanted to. Oh, I'd be dialing. 1-800, let me know. So, I don't know. There's some things coming, y'all. Some things are happening with this podcast that are truly blowing my mind. And I'm just trying to fit in the time in between all of my craziness that I have going on. So hopefully mid-January, some things start slowing down, figuring out or whatever. But I will still give you guys an episode because I stress and I love you and I have to give you guys something because I love every one of you. And literally, guys, I almost made the top 100 in New Zealand. I can't even fucking point to you on a map and be like, that's where it is. So God bless. Crazy, mind-blowing things. Poof. You guys have a good hump day. Have a good hump day. Go up to that person that's just so hateful and mean and be like, why you so hateful and mean? Really? Why? I want to know. Maybe y'all just become best friends. You're welcome. Or maybe you get murdered. In that case, your family will probably sue me, and I'll do you justice. I hope on the podcast episode I do about you from jail. Whatever. Have a good week. I love you all. And the Morris family, hopefully one day you guys get some sort of justice. I'm glad and happy that your daughter's name, your sister's name was cleared. And the real evil was pointed to who it needed to be pointed to. A man who takes advantages of children. So, like I said, be on the lookout for Mr. James Wilder. So, yeah. I don't know. St. Louis.